Hello, General Chemistry class. This is your instructor, Dr. Stephen Jones. Just wanted to talk with you about writing your laboratory report. Regardless if you're in a 1405, 1406, 1411, or 1412 class, for me, the lab reports are all the same. In formatting this report, what you have to understand, this is a formal report. This is not just something you scribble on a piece of paper and you turn in. We would like for you to treat this as if you are presenting a research paper to an English professor. Instead of reading different sources, you did all the work in a laboratory and now you're reporting to me what you have done. The first thing you have to have is a title page. That title page must have the title of the experiment, your name, the instructor's name, my name, the date of the lab that was performed, and the date that the report was submitted. Two different dates. You need to tell me the date that you started the lab and then the actual date that it was submitted. All of this is on a separate sheet of paper. That's the first thing I should see when I open up your file. Then after the title page, the first thing you're going to have on the next page is the title of the experiment. And you can't really go wrong with that. Only thing you have to do is take the title that is essentially given to you. If it has the keyword the or a at the beginning, that's fine. If it doesn't, that's okay as well. But after that, you have what is called the purpose. Now, within the purpose, you use a sentence or two as to what the intent of the experiment is. Then you tell us your hypothesis for the experiment. First, you tell us what you're supposed to achieve in the experiment. Then you give a guess as to the end result of the experiment. The first lab that you will do is a graphing lab. After reading what you're supposed to graph and the data that you're going to present, you should be able to give me a hypothesis of how the graph will look, or what will be presented in the data, what key information I can glean from it. That's your hypothesis. You just give me a guess as to what the outcome will be. That should be labeled. Each of these sections, except for the title page and the title, should be labeled. Uh, Everything after the title should be labeled. Everything one and two, you do not need to label your title page. You do not need to label the title. Just simply give me the title in that first line. The second line should be purpose. And in that purpose, again, you tell us what the objective of the lab, and then give us your hypothesis or guess as to the end result of the lab. Then you're going to list all of the materials that you're going to need in order to carry out the lab. Now, the methods portion is the most important portion of the lab. This is where you tell me what you did in the lab. The methods portion should be written in an essay format. Please do not write up your lab as you see it possibly in your lab manual, where you put 1, period, wash the dishes. 2, got a beaker from the cabinet and then poured hydrochloric acid in the beaker. No, don't want you to list out the things that you're doing. You're supposed to put it in essay format. And because it's in essay format, I also want you to be able to use past tense, because this is telling me what you did. You need to also include observations. As you are writing, as you're doing the lab, you need to be writing up your methods. And as you perform different things, you need to put in observations as to what occurred in that lab. Past tense, you need to be in essay form, must include observations, and you need to use passive voice. You do not use I, we, you, us, or they. Just simply state what you have done and ensure the fact that you do not use any personal pronouns to describe your actions. The methods portion is where we usually take off most of the points because individuals don't do exactly what I just said. Again, most of it is included in the section labeled methods. The only thing that is not included is the observations that I would like to see within your laboratory. And then once you finish writing your methods, you should have data. You collect data. In your graphing lab, the data is the information that you're plotting on your graph. So therefore, you need data tables listed in the data section. The results and discussion analysis, depending on the lab, you may or may not have these portions, but you're going to describe in words what the data that you presented really represents. And then discussion and analysis, you take it a little bit further. Now I have this data. This is what it represents. So this representation is what? How does it apply to you? What does it really mean? Yes, the graph, you have a graph, a straight line graph, but what does that mean and how can you use that information? And then in the conclusion, your conclusion is basically you state whether or not the hypothesis that you presented earlier is correct. And if it's correct, you explain why it's correct. If it's not correct, you explain what it is, what happened, why didn't the experiment go the way that you felt that it would go. And then you're going to have some of your figures and graphs. In this particular case, some of your figures you're going to have to create and then scan them into a PDF file and then upload it to the website. There is a video that will help you find a scanning app. Also, there's another video that shows you how to submit documents on eConnect. And then the references. Anything that you have stated within your conclusion, anything that you stated within your discussion or your results, you need to provide your references here. Most of the time, your reference material should be your textbook or something that you discovered on the internet. So the important things of the lab, please label your different sections so I'll know what I'm reading. The only thing should not be labeled is the title page and the title of the experiment. Make certain, this is where people often make mistakes with the methods portion. They list out the procedures instead of writing it in an essay format. They usually don't use past tense and they don't provide significant detail. I need to be able to read your procedure and be able to do it on my own without using any other resource other than your laboratory report. If you have any other questions, just shoot me an email. I will respond to you as soon as I possibly can. Have a great day.